Hawaii.
We Democrats are here on the floor to take a stand against a bill that's a disaster for our nation's health care. Medicaid patients, families with loved ones in nursing homes, people who struggle with opioid addiction, women who rely on Planned Parenthood, people who work in the healthcare industry. And so we stand with them and for them tonight. But we also stand for the American public who is being left in the dark about what Trumpcare will mean for them. This is not the normal order of Senate business. The Republicans are going about this in a way that is so procedurally flawed that it is an embarrassment to democracy itself. They are hiding this bill. They're hiding this bill because people will be outraged when they find out what's in it. That's why a Republican aide said that they aren't releasing the bill because, quote, we aren't stupid. Think about what that statement means. First, it means they have a bill. Second, it means they think it's political suicide to make the bill public. And so they are bypassing the normal and necessary process needed to make good legislation. The way you make legislation is you allow the sun to shine in. And that starts with hearings. Every legislative body in the country, from a school board to a county council, has hearings. Because we figured out that for all of our flaws, we figured out that over the centuries that you need hearings, not just to placate the masses, but to figure out whether your legislation is any good or not. Republicans have not held a single hearing on Trumpcare. No one who knows anything about health care is allowed to say anything about this bill because they aren't even allowed to see it. But anyone who's ever tried to understand the American health care system knows that it's complicated. The president said so himself. You need expert testimony, you need public input, and you need time to talk to your home state. That's the way you get a good product. But Republicans have totally bypassed the two committees that exist to consider legislation like this. Think about it. Under normal circumstances, this legislation would be in the Finance and Health Committee jurisdiction. There would be hearings and there would be a markup. But that's not the process that's being used. There's no markup, there are no committee hearings, it's just 13 dudes. And they are rushing to pass a bill without women, without Democrats, and without input from the American people. Here's the order of the people who get to see the health care bill. 13 men in secret, Republican lobbyists, Politico, Republicans, Democrats, and then the American people. This is shameful. This is a violation of the way democracy itself should work. When they are done, the product will be the fruit from a poisonous tree. It can't be good because the process that produced it was so flawed. There are many, many Americans who don't support this bill, and I'm going to highlight three groups who stand to lose. First, you have people who are going to pay more for insurance, lose their insurance altogether, or lose the ability to choose their provider. Families won't be able to afford nursing home care for their loved ones or pay the hospital bills for a parent after she has a heart attack. Americans with pre-existing conditions will struggle to buy insurance because insurance companies will be able to charge more for conditions like diabetes or cancer or asthma. Women will be blocked from getting annual checkups or cancer screenings at their local Planned Parenthood clinic. All of these people stand to lose if the bill moves forward. Second, you have people whose jobs may be at risk. Healthcare makes up about 1/6 of the American economy, and it doesn't exist in a vacuum. This is an industry that impacts millions of workers, and you can bet those jobs will be affected by this bill. One study found that Trumpcare will take away nearly 1 million jobs by the year 2026. We're supposed to be helping American workers, not taking away their jobs or making it harder for them to get health care. Finally, this bill hurts the working poor. These are the people who will struggle even more under Trumpcare. And I don't know why we would punish them. Why would we leave them with nowhere to turn? I know that millions of Americans feel the same way that I do. They care deeply about the poor, the vulnerable, and the sick among us because they've made news standing up for their neighbors. One woman named Jessie went to a town hall to make her voice heard on Trumpcare, and I want to read what she said, and I quote, "It's my understanding that the ACA mandate requires everybody to have insurance because the healthy people pull up the sick people, right? And as a Christian, my whole philosophy on life is pull up the unfortunate. So the individual mandate, that's what it does. The healthy people pull up the sick people. If we take those people and put them in a high-risk insurance pool, they're costlier and there's less coverage for them. That's the way it's been in the past, and that's the way it will be again. So we're effectively punishing our sickest people. And I end the quote. Look, we may not agree on policy, but I hope we can agree on the process. So what will it take? What will it take for this process to be restored and for Trumpcare to be considered in the way that it ought to be considered? The answer is actually very straightforward. We need 3 Republicans. It only takes 3 Republicans, and you can be a person who hates the Affordable Care Act or has mixed feelings about the Affordable Care Act or anywhere in between. It only takes 3 Republicans at the United States Senate to restore the United States Senate itself, to restore the hearing process, to restore public confidence and restore bipartisanship. All we need are 3 Republican senators to say, I won't vote for anything if there hasn't been a public hearing. I won't vote for anything that's being jammed down America's throats. I won't vote for anything without being able to go back home and figure out how it will impact my state's hospitals. This is not an unreasonable ask. We're just asking for 3 Republicans to say, let's be a Senate again. Let's restore order and transparency and do things the right way, because that's the only way that this bill will not be a total disaster. I yield the floor.